What is up, guys? Thanks for tuning in to the next episode of the Three Peaks Fitness Podcast. I'm Coach Mark.
I'm Coach Lynette.
Today we've got a good one for you guys. This is really important, so listen up, kids.
Yes, this comes from our experience with our gym members, and we think it's really important.
Yeah, and it's kind of actually sort of a piggyback off of what we did last week and how important the dial method is. It's really has to do with how you gauge making progress. And one of the big issues that we see, not just our clients, but just society in general, is we gauge our progress solely on the scale.
Yeah.
Right? What do I weigh? And we have this tendency to have a number that we've decided on as the gold standard for our health.
Right.
I want to weigh, when I weigh 160 pounds, then I'll be healthy. Then I'll be happy. Yeah. That's the number. But let me ask you guys listening, have you ever stopped and really thought, why that number?
Why is that number so important?
I'm sure everyone listening, a number just popped up into your head, right? And that number that you want to weigh. Yeah. But stop and take a second and really think why, right? Let's say you want to weigh, your goal is to weigh 160 pounds. Why? Why, right? Like, do you really know why? Is there a legitimate reason why you want to weigh that amount of weight? Why 160? Yeah. Why not 163? Yeah. Why not 157? Yeah. Why not 170? Chances are you can't come up with a really good reason, and that's because the number on the scale, it doesn't tell the entire story. No. It's one very small piece of a very large puzzle. Yeah. And the reason why we started with that is because weight has been used in our society to invoke feelings, deep feelings of insecurity. So we live in an Instagram world full of models, right? Yeah. We watch movies full of beautiful movie stars. We're bombarded with commercials that make us feel insecure. And on top of this, we live in a hypersexualized society that values looking good way too highly, right? Whatever looking good means. Yeah. The fitness industry, the beauty industry, the modeling, and they've created these standards that are unattainable for most of us, and are actually unattainable even for the models and the movie stars. Yes. And they are long term. Yeah. And so it's important to remember that these forms of media, they're trying to get something from you. They're trying to get you to spend money, right? Movies want to have, really fit, good-looking movie stars because sex sells, and you are more likely to go watch a movie with good-looking people in it, right? You're going to spend money on that movie. Instagram models or fitness influencers, right? They are trying to sell you their program. Yeah. Right? And so even if you're not consciously thinking this way, when you look at that Instagram influencer, and again, I'm sure just saying Instagram fitness influencer, someone has popped into your head. Yeah. Right? You look at them and you envy the way that they look. Yeah. And you think that by taking part in their program, you'll end up looking like them. Mm-hmm. And so basically the point I'm getting at is that all these industries, right? Fitness, movie, Hollywood, everything, they are trying to make you feel insecure, right? So that they can sell you something to supposedly take the pain away. Yes. They create a problem and then they sell you the solution. Exactly. And so it's important that you are really careful not to let these external media sources impact your self-esteem. Now, I know it's easier said than done. But start bringing awareness to it, and you really need to stop comparing yourself to these people that you see that again, they don't even look like that year round. Nope. Fitness influencers especially, half of them are on gear. But anyway, movie stars, right? They diet down and follow these ridiculous, crazy diets and crazy workout routines that aren't sustainable. They don't look like that year round. No. They don't look like that year round. They call it getting down to their movie weight. Models.
Yep.
Right? Same way.
Photo shoot weight. Yeah.
Photo shoot, yep. And then, so not only do they not look like that year round, they also have Photoshop.
Yeah.
Right? Those
right.
things
The photos are enhanced even after all the
cellulite,
suffering.
Yeah, everything is, they get rid of everything.
Then there's the lighting and the, the airbrushing and the spray tans, and there's just so much going on there that we don't even know.
Yeah. And so comparing yourself to them and thinking that you should look that way it's just not healthy.
Right. And I think the first step, you mentioned it before, is just be aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you see it, like, okay, that is not reality. There's things going on there, technical things and extreme behaviors that I'm not aware of.
Yeah.
And so I would say the first step is to start curating your social media and stop following anyone that makes you feel insecure. Just unfollow them and start following accounts that make you feel better.
Yeah.
Like my Instagram is full of ocean animals. I feel great looking at whales.
Whales don't make you feel insecure.
No, and sea turtles? No.
Yeah, they don't judge you. And they're not trying to sell you anything.
No, they're not. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
But yeah, guys, long story short, you have to understand that we get so fixated on the number on the scale, but that doesn't tell you the whole story.
Yeah. And there's actually some really great ways to track progress. We're not saying never track anything, but there's some really awesome ways to track your progress.
Yeah, for sure. And just to give you guys some context, right? So, The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah.
Right, big movie star, biggest celebrity on the planet.
Big hunk.
Yeah. Ladies love him. Guys want to be him. The whole nine. Yeah.
The beefcake.
So he is technically obese.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, according to the scale.
He's
according
obese. To BMI, if he went to his doctor.
Yep.
Do you think The Rock's doctor is saying, "Hey, man, you need to lose some weight"? It's like, okay, what weight is he going to lose?
Right.
And the whole point of me telling you this is that the weight does not tell the whole story. Half the time, when you go in and your doctor is saying, "Oh, you need to lose some weight," it's because they're probably a lazy doctor and they're just using the BMI scale to tell you what it is that you should weigh.
Yes, the BMI is an outdated tool.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating when you get a doctor that's just going off BMI.
Yeah, it's not realistic.
Yeah.
Half the time, be like, "Okay, doc, I need to lose some weight. What's your BMI?" Ask your doctor next time, right? I guarantee you they're not in a healthy weight. And that's because the BMI, it was actually created in the 1800s.
Yeah.
And it's gone through a lot of different iterations, but basically it still comes down to your height and your weight.
Right.
It doesn't take into account lean body mass. Mm-hmm. It's just how tall are you, how much do you weigh, and if you fall outside of the little green box that they want you to, and you start moving into the yellow, orange, red, you're obese.
Yeah,
it
doesn't take into account your bone density, or your lean muscle mass.
Yeah.
It's not taking activity level.
Yeah, and it's really a shame because your body is at its healthiest when it has an abundance of lean muscle and a strong cardiovascular system.
Yeah.
So did you ever stop to think, why is it that this system that is so widely used, right, BMI, why is that the standard when it doesn't even take those things into account?
Because it's easy.
Because it's easy. Doctors are lazy.
Yeah.
American healthcare. Don't get me started. All right. Anyway.
It's just easy.
But so we really want to learn how to change our perception on progress.
Yeah.
We need to change our perception on what progress is and what progress means to us.
That this requires a little bit of a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
So don't expect this to instantly happen. I'm going to now track my progress this other way. Once you decide to start tracking different things, it will take time. And we're all so programmed, even after you've I've changed, it's been a year or two since you were tracking your weight. That old way of thinking may sneak up on you. Expect it to happen. It's okay. And just know that, that's my old way of thinking trying to crop up again. And just face it and don't get mad that old ways try to creep up. It's okay.
So
but this is a paradigm shift. So expect it to be a little bit of a challenge, but it's also very liberating. Yeah.
So what you want to do when you're trying to shift this paradigm, you want to think of fitness as a skill.
Yes,
And
it's a skill.
I want to start off with an example, right? Let's say you wanted to learn how to play the guitar. Would you judge your progress exclusively on whether or not you were able to play the guitar solo in Freebird by Leonard Skinner, right?
Yeah.
Like 1 month in, if you couldn't play that guitar solo,
can't
would
play
you
the
be like,
solo.
oh, I failed. Oh,
I'm a failure.
I failed, yeah.
Why can't I do this?
Right, 3 months in, 6 months.
It's
12
ridiculous.
months. It's ridiculous, right?
Yeah, ridiculous.
Because playing the guitar is a skill and it takes time to master that skill. And not only that, within the skill of playing that guitar solo, there are countless sub-skills that you need to master, right? You need to master all these little things before you're able to play that guitar solo. But I guess the question is, why do we view fitness so differently, right? Like fitness is a skill. Learning to exercise is a skill. Learning to eat healthy is a skill. And these skills take time to develop. So it's important that you're able to take a step back and acknowledge the progress that you've made.
Yes.
Even if that progress hasn't led you to your obscure random goal weight that you decided you want to weigh.
Right. And there are skills in health and fitness that seem like they have nothing to do with health and fitness. I just had a conversation last night with someone that she realized that one of her health and fitness skills that she didn't have until recently was the ability to talk to get support from people around her. And she goes, I can't have health and fitness unless I am surrounded by other people that are supporting what I'm trying to do. And she says, I always thought I was supposed to do it by myself. That was her paradigm. That it's, she's superwoman and she has to do this by herself.
Yeah.
So she is learning the skill of talking to others, having conversations, asking for what she needs. You cannot get healthy without being able to ask for what you need and be able to ask for help.
Yeah.
So that is a skill.
Yeah, and that's a big one, I think, with typically moms more than dads.
Yeah.
We see like a lot of super moms.
Yeah.
Keep running the household. They're working. They're doing this, that,
Super mom or martyr mom.
Or martyr mom, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big hurdle. If you can't learn how to recruit help, make yourself a priority, your health and fitness isn't going to happen. So why not track that skill?
Right. That's a perfect example. There are so many different skills that you can track that will show you that you're making progress even when the number on the scale isn't dropping. So, fun fact, did you know that according to the CDC, only 23% of Americans get enough exercise? So, and enough exercise is really hardly anything. It's 150 minutes, so 2.5 hours of moderate intensity exercise and 2 days of strength training.
Okay. So for the masses, like I've been taught that since elementary school, those numbers, that amount of exercise is just to avoid diseases. This isn't for thriving.
Yeah.
So you should actually, at some point, be able to do more than that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, right. You want to be able to do more than that. But so basically, if you were to work out at, Progressive Athletics 3 days per week, that would put you automatically in the 77th percentintile. Not even talking about, okay, how much did I lift that day?
Yeah.
How much, how many reps did I get that day? Not even worry about the details. If you were to just work out 3 days per week, you're already ahead of a majority
and that is progress.
Right, that
just
is
showing
progress.
up.
Just showing up. Yep. Another one. Did you know that eating 3 servings? Well, this is a really interesting one. Eating 3 servings of veggies and 2 servings of fruit per day can reduce your risk of death by 13%. Reduce your risk of death from cancer, and this is from Harvard, by the way, so this is legit. Reduce your risk of death from cancer by 10%. Reduce your risk of death from heart disease and stroke by 12%, and reduce your risk of death from respiratory disease by 35%.
That was surprising. The respiratory one is surprising.
Yes. Now, I'm sure there are some, it's like, correlation, causation debate could be had.
That's true. If you're eating vegetables and fruits, you're probably not smoking.
Right, you're probably not smoking. But that doesn't make it insignificant.
Right.
Because I think that's very telling that these habits build on each other.
Yeah.
Right? And if you are the type of person who has developed the skill of fitness, then yes, if you're eating, 3 servings of veggies, 2 servings of fruit a day, yes, you probably are also working out, right?
Yeah.
Because you've developed the skill of fitness.
Yeah.
But you don't want to be dismissive of that fact, right? Because just saying, oh, well, yeah, of course they live longer because they probably also, go for walks. They probably aren't as sedentary. It all goes together. It all goes together, and it's all about momentum. And so, yes, you might not start out, eating 3 servings of veggies a day, 2 servings of fruit, exercising 3, 4, 5 days per week. You might not start out that way.
Right.
You may only start out working out 1 day per week and eating 1 serving of veggies per week. But eventually, it compounds, right? As you learn how to navigate your life with these skills, you eventually reach that point where you, again, develop the skill of fitness.
Yeah, definitely. And you make it easier for yourself as you start putting those skills in. You're making making it easier for your future self to make even better decisions and get more skills.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Right? Because the people around you start to get used to that. So when I started the health and fitness, my journey here, like everyone around me thought, oh, here she goes again. She's not going to stick with it. But as time went on, I started to develop credibility because I'm like, oh, 6 months went by. Oh, she's still doing this. So the same thing happens. Like when you stick with something, pick something you can stick with, something simple. Don't want to take on too much at once. But as you develop that skill and get better and better at it, and you're eating a little better, then you are able to trust yourself because you're keeping your promises to yourself. And then the people around you start to see, they start to expect that from you, like, hey, where's your vegetable with dinner? I thought you always had a vegetable with dinner. You start so your environment starts to support you.
Yeah.
Because they start to expect that, and you start to make it easier for yourself.
And then on the other side, you end up becoming the good influence.
Yeah. Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like if you can see it through, if you could get through that point where you get your support around you, then it turns from them taking you seriously into like, oh, well, maybe I'll come to the gym with you, this week and kind of, just see what it's all about. You start impacting people in a positive way.
Especially if you're a parent. Whatever your kids see you do, even if they don't do it the first 20 years of their life or whatever, that is a profound example.
Yeah.
If they see their parent doing it, they will eventually do it themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think we just hit another way of tracking progress.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
How supportive are the people in your life?
Yeah.
That's another way, that's another indicator of, hey, I'm on the right track. I'm developing the skill of fitness. If your husband or wife or whatever, was kind of like, okay, we'll see. Yeah.
A skeptic.
I'll see you back here in chocolate cake land in a month, when you're done with this fad diet or this fad workout.
You could track your street cred.
Yeah. That's another way to track your progress. Another way that is more specific to like exercising in general is tracking your weight, not how much you weigh, but
the weights you're lifting.
What you're actually lifting, right? So the standard squat for a woman, a beginner woman, a woman who is a beginner to lifting, right? The squat is 65 pounds.
Okay.
Right? For a man, it's 140 pounds.
Okay.
Those numbers, if you don't work out, if you don't lift with a barbell, that may sound like, whoa, that's a lot of weight. It's not a lot of weight. We have people here at the gym who can do that easily, like no problem.
Yeah.
It's not, once you've been working out, it's really not a lot of weight.
Yeah.
But it's a good way to, again, track progress. Why is that not considered progress, but the number on the scale is?
Yeah.
Right? And so our whole point in giving you these examples, guys, is that there are so many different ways that you can tell you're making progress. Yeah. And if you're only fixated, if you're only focused on what the number on the scale says, you'll drive yourself crazy. And I can almost guarantee you, you will not make progress if you're only focused on the number on the scale. And if you do, it won't be sustained. Because doing that does not arm you with the necessary skills to make legitimate, long-term, sustainable progress
Yeah,
with your fitness?
tracking only weight on the scale. In most cases, for the clients I work with, it is just, most of the time, it's very discouraging, because when you're building all these skills that are not showing up on the scale, then when they keep getting on the scale, it blinds them. It's like putting blinders on. You can't see the things that are happening. So they're like, oh, I'm not, it's been 8 weeks. I haven't lost any weight. I'm like, yeah, but you don't feel guilty about eating food anymore. You're eating slowly. You're having conversations at the dinner table instead of watching TV while you're eating. They're like, all these great things are happening. Their nutrition levels going up. Their energy levels up, but they're blind to all of the wonderful breakthroughs they've made, because they're like, oh, but the weight's the same. It's always, oh yeah, but. They minimize all that progress, but the weight is the same.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, and I've even had it go to an extreme where someone had an emotional breakdown because, I've done things perfectly for 6 weeks and the needle didn't move, the weight didn't move, and she just fell apart.
Yeah.
Right? That's the damage that scale tracking can do.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful with it. Like, I would suggest most people should just throw their scale away or just don't get on it.
Yeah.
More than once a month.
Right.
Yeah.
If you can't if you're the type of person where you can be okay with whatever the weight is, and it's just out of curiosity, you're just like, I wonder how much I weigh. You could hop on once a month, maybe twice a month, then that's okay if you genuinely can't handle that. But if you're the type of person where you get fixated on, why isn't the number moving? Why isn't it going down? And you weigh yourself every day, twice a day. Yeah, it's not good for you. It's going to be counterproductive. Stop weighing yourself. Yeah,
it sabotages everything. And again, it blinds you to what the progress you're really making.
Yeah, for sure. Sure. It's so kind of bringing it all together, guys. It's important to understand that real progress. It's not sexy.
Yeah.
It takes time.
Yeah.
It just takes time. Don't be a child. Don't be impatient. Just settle in, right? Like you're trying to get in shape for the rest of your life. You literally have the rest of your life to do this.
Yeah.
So why are you in such a rush to see some obscure number on a scale that you just thought of that has no basis in reality for what is actually good for you?
Exactly. Yeah.
Just chill out. And I love this quote, right?
Oh, yeah.
So one of my favorite quotes, it comes from Captain Jack Sparrow.
That's right.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
The great philosopher.
The great philosopher. He was wise, man. He was
great
wise.
Philosopher Jack Sparrow.
Yeah. And he always said, the problem is not the problem. The problem is your attitude about the problem.
Yeah.
And when it comes to progress, the problem is not the fact that you aren't losing weight. The problem is that you think you should be losing weight when you haven't put the necessary time and effort into developing the skills necessary to make that happen.
Yeah.
And the way you develop those skills is by focusing on other areas of progress outside of the scale, like the ones we just talked about.
Yeah.
And learning to enjoy the journey. Stop focusing solely on the destination.
Right. And tracking is very individual. So, if at first you're like, well, what do I track? I don't know what to track. Well, give yourself some time to figure that out over time. Like, for some people, tracking hemoglobin, that's how they know. Because, like, my hemoglobin is going up. That's how I'm going to track my progress. Or how they feel, how the food feels in their gut. Like, be able to figure out what foods make them feel their best and what foods they have a tendency to have negative reactions to. That's a big project for some people to figure out what foods, especially if you have like IBS or something like that. Track your progress according to, what foods, being able to know which foods you're able to eat well without having a reaction to them.
Yeah.
So it's a very individual thing, but very satisfying when you figure out your health markers that you want to track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because doing that makes it sustainable. I just saw. Do you know who Brandon Carter is?
No.
He's a fitness influencer, like super ripped dude. Online trainer, even though he's not doing any of the training. I saw a video of him saying that he was actually saying the opposite of what we always say. So he was saying, he was like, I don't think it's a good idea to, play the long game and make slow progress. I think it's better to go really, really hard and lose a lot of weight and then learn the skill of maintaining. And now this guy has like millions of followers. Like he's one of the bigger. You probably would recognize him if you saw him. He's one of the bigger online trainers.
I think if Fairy died.
I'm like, dude, you call yourself a trainer and this is what you're telling people?
That is terrible.
That's terrible.
That's terrible.
The skill that just shows me how ignorant he is and how. But I think it's a really perfect example of what we're talking about with how you have to be careful, because I'm sure he wants his followers to think that so he can sell them a ridiculous, unsustainable program.
That appeals to the get rich quick or the fix it quick.
That's exactly
I can just fix this real quick and then I'll figure out how to keep the weight off. It appeals to that hurry up syndrome that we all have.
That's exactly what it is. It's a get rich quick scheme for your
weight.
Health.
Yeah.
And it only benefits the people selling you that because because it's not sustainable for anyone, when you inevitably stop making progress, they can always turn around and say, well, are you doing what I told you to do?
Right.
You're not still only eating 1,200 calories a day? Well, if you just could stick to 1,200 calories a day, you'd still be making progress.
You're not doing the program, so it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Well, it's the program that's broken.
Yeah.
The whole premise of the program is broken.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's really a shame, and, we hope you guys really take to heart what we're saying, because there's no shortage of fitness influencers, movie stars. There's no shortage of industries out there that are preying on your insecurities and trying to make you think that there's something wrong with you and that they can sell you the thing to fix that. There's nothing wrong with you. You're where you are because of the skills you have. Yeah. Right? And so it's just a matter of developing the skill of health and fitness to get you to a healthier place. Exactly. And that's all it is.
Yeah. Sadly, it's not sexy.
Yeah.
It's not sexy.
It's not.
But the people that are, have tried all the things and then they finally come to us and go, all right, let's do what really works, you know, and they're willing to do the slow, tortoise versus hare kind of thing. I tell you what, a few months in or a year in, they're just like, oh my gosh, I am liberated. I am free. I feel great. Yeah, everyone is so happy when they finally change their paradigm.
Yeah, and that's such a good point, because doing it that way, it's just less stressful, man. You take all that pressure off yourself, because when you're in your mind, you're like, oh, I want to lose 40 pounds, and this program says I can lose 40 pounds in 3 months. Yeah, and it's like a doomsday clock.
Buy the meals or use the app or whatever it is that they're selling.
Yeah, it's like too stressful, and you're already stressed out with everything else going on in your life. Why are you gonna? Fitness shouldn't be stressful. It should be, let me repeat that. It should be positively stressful. Yeah. In a positive way. Like it shouldn't stretch you so far that you break. Yeah. Right. And you should be able to fit it into your life, find ways to fit it into your life rather than trying to reshape your whole life to fit someone's program. Right. So that's how you know. That's the red flag. Yeah. If you have to rearrange your whole life to fit someone's program, then that's a red flag. Run the other way. Yeah. That, and then, final takeaway, if your doctor only uses BMI, find another doctor. It's so annoying. Or just call them out on it, Or, just call them out. Just say, I don't think BMI is the best way to, test. Yeah. To track my progress. Yeah. Yeah, challenge them on it. Yeah, don't be afraid to advocate for yourself. But, so that's all we got for you guys today. Do you have anything else? That is it. That's it. All right, guys, work on shifting that paradigm. Yes. And just remember, there's nothing wrong with you. You're perfectly fine the way you are. You just have to develop the skills of fitness to get to where you want to be. That's right. All right. We will talk to you next time. All right. Bye-bye.